Hey everybody, and well, it's finally over. Series 11 has come to its inevitable lackluster end. I'm here with the review of the Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos, which was the Series 11 finale. And on the plus side, it was kind of like Kerblam. It was a bit more like Doctor Who than the rest of this dreadful season that we've gotten, but it still wasn't good. Um, we had some good supporting characters with Phyllis Logan from Downton Abbey and Mark Addy from Game of Thrones, and the plot revolving around the Ooks, I believe it was, being corrupted by Tim Shaw. Which, hey, we got a recurring villain for the first time under the Chibnall area. The Tooth Monster Tim Shaw from the Stenza was back from the Woman Who Fell to Earth, which, okay, it's not the Daleks, it's not the Cybermen, it's not the Master or Missy, it's Tooth Monster. But at least it was showing some sort of ties to what had come before, which under the Chibnall era we've not really had outside of little references to past episodes from previous Doctors. So it just, I've dreaded making this review because this has just been one of the biggest disappointments being a fan of this show. Um, Graham, once again, was the highlight of the episode in his wanting revenge on Tim Shaw for Grace's death, and the doctor getting all,
No, if you do that, you will never travel with me again.
and it just, once again, it goes back to Jodie's performance as the doctor. Because had it been Capaldi, the eyebrows would have been like, I understand, but you can't kill. Or even Matt or David, there'd be weight. And with Jodie, anytime anybody contradicts her or does something she doesn't like, it seems sort of, and that's kind of her. Well, with the constipation, it's either the pouting or the constipation face. And we've been over this and we've been over this and we've been over this, but Jodie still sucks. And there is no weight to her doctor. There has been no doctor moment. She doesn't come off as the doctor. There's no authoritative presence. You look back through the history of the show, even when we had slightly comedic actors playing the doctor, Patrick Troughton could flip on a dime. Sylvester McCoy could flip on a dime. Tom Baker, he could be clownish and comedic, but he could also have weight and an air of authority. Davison, it could happen. Colin Baker was the explosion in the Rainbow Factory, but each doctor could ground the situation or dealing with the companions or dealing with the villains, and Jodie has not done that in 10 episodes. Now, the plot revolving around the Ooks and Tim Shaw, and what plot device did we rip off from Classic Who this week? I mean, we've already ripped off the Green Death, and this week it's the pirate planet with the Ooks shrinking the planet. So there's some more creativity from Chibnall. I, it was a chore to get through the episode as usual. I have no desire to see it again. Um, I guess it's the Ryan and which once again Ryan's dyspraxia nowhere to be seen. It's like this plot device that just comes up every now and then. He's got dyspraxia, but when they're taking on sniper bots or when they're running through the anti thing from last week, there's no dyspraxia. So, but at least we got the Ryan and Graham thing. They told each other they loved, and he finally got his fist bump. And Graham, Bradley Walsh has been the only saving grace of this entire series. And the fact that, it's a human thing that, someone has hurt or killed your wife or your significant other. You want revenge. And getting back to the whole pouty thing with Jodie, it's just, other doctors would have understood that too. And there'd have been a big long monologue or speech with Capaldi or Matt or whatever. And with Jodie, it's not. It's, I'm going to pout and go, you will never travel with me again if you do that. Yaz, once again, was useless. I mean, she got saddled with Mark Addy and Pataki, whatever his name was, the captain, until they had to put the little devices on their head because the planet was messing with their reality or whatever. Which that was that, I'm saying there were classic Who elements in this episode. And I did like the fact that, I didn't think Tim Shaw was the best villain ever, but he's probably one of the better villains we've had all season. And okay, we get a callback. But this was a season finale. Okay. And you go back in the history of New Who, season finales were big and, stakes. That's what I mean. There were stakes. With Parting of the Ways, it was the Daleks. With Army of Ghosts, it was the Daleks versus the Cybermen. I mean, I could list them all off, but I'm not going to because I don't want this video to be 15 minutes. But even, more recently with Heaven Sent and Hell Bent, even though I know a lot of people don't like Hell Bent, we had the Time Lords, we had Gallifrey, we had the Doctor, trying to save Clara. I mean, there were stakes. This episode, there was, okay, we gotta save Earth. That's kind of a regular Doctor Who trope, is let's save Earth. And, I mean, especially when they figured out that it was planets and them thing. I'm sitting there, that's the pirate planet. And it's just, there seems to be very little creative anything coming from this series. And it's just, I'm glad it's over because I really dreaded making this video because I'm tired of bashing something that I've enjoyed for a significant part of my life. And I almost didn't want to make it because it's just like it's going to be the same thing. It's just negative, negative, negative. And, I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy something that has brought me a lot of joy in my life sucking, and watching it is depressing. And my girlfriend told me last week, she was like, "Oh, your video last week, you sounded sad." Well, I'm not really sad, I'm bummed. It's like, I've invested 10 hours of my life into this show this season that, I was hoping was going to be good. And I can say maybe 3 of them have been tolerable and the rest have sucked total ass. And it is depressing. And then, we're not getting a Christmas special this year because they've run out of ideas, which it seems like this whole series, they've run out of ideas. But we're getting a New Year's Day special, and allegedly, we're around the campfire, the Daleks are going to be there, which I'm almost scared to see what Chibnall does with the Daleks, because if it's anything like what he's done with the Doctor or the TARDIS, this is going to suck even worse. The experiment has not worked. Jodie has no defining moments as the Doctor. She has no, her character traits are pouting and the big sweeping gestures with the Sonic, which are still there and suck. And just the crappy Matt Smith impression. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked all year. And it didn't feel like a season finale. It just felt like a plain old episode. I mean, it would have been better to do this as a 2-parter on the end of The Woman Who Fell to Earth than, okay, this episode, Woman Fell to Earth starts the season, then we're going to end it with the Battle of Ranskoor to have Kolos or whatever, to have Tim Shaw come back. And it's like, it feels like it should have been a 2-parter, but then it wasn't. This series was just depressing, is the best word I can come up with. And I'm not looking forward to the New Year's Day special. But I'll watch it because hope springs eternal. Anyway, I'm going to give it a 5 because at least it felt like Who, but it's still not Who. But at least there were some positives to it. But I'm going to be glad that I'm going to be done making these videos because they're not what I want to be doing. So anyway, that wraps up the series 11, and it sucked. All right, till next time, keep on keeping on. May the force be with you.